What's up, man?
Am I doing the introduction today?
Yeah, it's your turn this week.
It's my turn. All right. Welcome to the Tin and Ons podcast, Medicine and Culture, where we talk about things that have happened over the week for the past 2 weeks, catching up with each other, and then maybe give you guys some educational facts in medicine. Are you excited? This is our fourth episode. How do you feel?
I'm very excited. Hasn't burned
Excited?
out yet, so it's something that I look forward to every week, man.
That's good. That's what I told you from the very beginning. As long as we're having fun, as long as we look forward to it, I think it'll be good.
Yeah.
Dang.
So you back home
Did
now?
I tell you? Yeah, I am back home. See, look
Nice.
at this. Look at my lounge.
Yeah,
I feel more relaxed
I,
here.
I can see the Wi-Fi quality is better too.
Wait, really? Dude?
I mean, like, yeah, you don't look like you like a potato anymore.
I also have the ring light.
Oh,
Like
do you?
Patty has a ring.
How do you have the
Yeah,
ring light? Why?
she has a ring light. Because when she was doing her interviews, remember? It was
Oh, I thought she was borrowed it. I thought she borrowed the domes for those.
no, no, she wanted her own.
Nice, that's good.
Yeah,
You ready,
but
man?
oh, dude, did I tell you? Some of the medical students that's on my team, they're asking me about my podcast because I told them a little bit about it, and they're like, "Dude, send us the link. We want to listen to
Yeah,
it." I still haven't gotten over the fact that we actually have a podcast. I'm still a little shy, about sending it.
yeah,
But I told them I was like, "Oh yeah, when I get home, I'll send you guys the link."
yeah.
Basically, when I never see them again, I'll
then,
send
then they can't judge you. Oh, they will, but you,
it.
but you don't have to know about it.
Exactly. You know, but it's cool. It's cool.
Yeah, I think
I'm excited.
it's uh, it's something that I wish I had. Not starting a podcast, but just like start something like start a YouTube channel, start an Instagram page, or because I remember back in high school or like college and stuff, you always kind of worry about what people's gonna say, like all your friends and like people that you know. Um, but I wish I had just started like way back then when I was like younger, like high school, like because I wanted to do those things like back then already, and just kind of you don't have to just start like a totally public channel, but don't add your friends and family members, and then just like do your own things and just start brand new and get like a brand new audience, so then you don't
Yeah.
have to worry about catering to like what my friends are saying. And then that same mentality too. It's like, oh yeah, don't worry about what your friends or like family's gonna think. Because I remember back then I was like, oh yeah, like I put this out, my friends gonna think I'm like this way, and this is what I think, and I always felt like really weird about it. That's why I never kind of like started early. So
Mm,
that's something I would advise anyone, you guys who listen to this and just want to start something like social media or like
hmm
a study page or like a YouTube channel dedicated to studying something. Just do it, and stick with it. Don't worry about what people's gonna think. Cause
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure like none of my friends, our friends, maybe like a few, but like probably even like listen to our podcast, and most of the audience that watch my YouTube videos anyway, it's not even people that I know. Like other subscriber I have, it's just like literally strangers who just find my videos useful. So that's something that I didn't realize until I actually started doing things. So you
Right.
guys, people have fear about doing those things, just go ahead, go for it and do it.
Yes, like me.
Yeah. Like don't like you kind of worry about what's gonna happen, what people's
Yeah.
gonna think.
Good day.
But very cool.
I'm learning from you. You got this is a great way to express your feelings and your beliefs and things like that. It's the we have this privilege in America to kind of have freedom of speech
Freedom
and
of
just say
speech,
whatever
bro.
we want.
Yeah.
And also it really does just build your own character as well. So I really like this. This is my first time doing this. So
Yeah. Do you
um
see that quote that I
yeah.
posted on Instagram?
No, see, I still need to
Oh,
have
you,
an
you're not
Instagram
really
now.
active on Instagram, but yeah, I pretty much posted a quote. It's Jordan Peterson said, like, when you need to organize your thoughts, like that's why I think journaling. I try to like start journaling and stuff. People with journals, you can just like at the end of the day, it's the same thing with when you're studying and stuff. You like taking all these facts, and then you gotta sit down, you synthesize all these facts, and come up with like a flow chart or some kind of table to kind of help you organize all these facts, how you remember things. The same thing with your daily life, like anything that you learn throughout the day, not like medical stuff. Just you need to, and like a form of talking. Like you need to talk to people. That's what Jordan Peterson said. You need to talk to people, like talk to your friends, talk to strangers, or whatever about these things. Because that's every time you talk, that's how you organize things. And that's why I've noticed. It's like, like I think I have all these great ideas, and then when I actually sit down and talk to like you or Daniel about it, I'm like, oh wait, there's so many holes, and like there's so many things that I actually don't understand, and it's like all these other perspective too that I didn't really think about to like synthesize. And then once you hear those things, you can start synthesizing information and come with like a brand new idea. So like
Yeah,
that's what I
that's
noticed. Yeah, you like just taking in things and like coming. You need to organize everything, and I think that's a great way. That's why you gotta talk to people, and every time you talk, that's how you organize your thoughts.
yeah. It's like you have this idea or this thing that you learn, but it's not yet refined unless
Right.
you like talk it to other people, have other perspective. They kind of just change it a little bit, and then eventually you'll have this, amazing piece of art, something that you can put in your long-term memory, and then just learn something new. So I think that's awesome. Speaking of that, so let's get into the meat of things. I like to update on the stories that we did last week. So about Johnny Depp
Yeah.
and Amber Heard. I want you to tell me about it because this is your story. I try to read up on more about it, but nah, let's have Tim tell me because it's better coming from you. So what happened?
Well, it's like
What's
more
the
information
update?
I found was just so they got a divorce right after that incident happened.
Okay.
After Johnny Depp. So the first case that he went through, it was actually in British, in England because the tabloid that posted the article that Amber Heard wrote was uh, a British tabloid magazine. So his first case was against the Sun in
Hmm.
Great Britain, and I think it was either a civil case. I think it was a civil case. So apparently there's like different when you go to like civil case versus like domestic cases and stuff. There's like different levels of expectations and different levels of criteria that you gotta meet for someone to be guilty, right? So
Hmm.
for his case, this first case was this a civil case, so it he needed way more proof to uh say that the son was liable for damage to his reputations and all this stuff. So it was just kind of more strict uh criteria to make the son liable and guilty. So that's why they got like a not
Hmm.
guilty verdict. But this case with Amber Heard right now is actually it's not a civil case actually, so it's actually in the U.S. and it's actually like a domestic case or something like like husband and wife thing, like more personal. It's not between
Right.
him and like a tabloid magazine, so it's more like a domestic case. And as we know, like usually domestic cases like usually kind of favor the woman's side,
Hmm.
just based on
Hmm.
record. Most of the uh, children's custody goes to the woman, and settling is usually goes to the woman that favors the woman. And there's a reason for that. And I don't have a problem with that. I think in most cases it can be correct. Yeah, so that's one of the hurdle that he has, Johnny Depp has in this case. But from everything that's like going through, man, like there's like clips and they still like literally it's like a whole day affair with these. I never realized how time consuming, how like
Yeah.
energy draining it is. You literally just sit there the whole day and you literally just talk, just like answer questions that people ask you all like literally the whole day. And yeah, but it's still going on. And I just been seeing like really funny edits of I don't know you've seen those clips of like
Yeah.
Johnny Depp, but he just straight up like being Jack Sparrow on the stand, Captain Jack Sparrow.
Right.
It's pretty funny.
That's
Uh,
so funny.
but yeah, it's like some of the audio that came out recording of Amber Heard saying stuff to Johnny. It's not looking good for him, man.
Oh, dude. I was I was shocked at some of the audio
Yeah,
recording. Did you hear about what she said? Like, oh, I like stop being a baby. Like you're such a baby. I didn't hit you. I didn't punch you or something. I'm
yeah.
like,
And that's
I don't know.
and that's like
What?
always the case is like when like you tell your friends like, dude, like my girlfriend hit me or something, and they're like, dude, she's like a girl or something, like how bad can it be? Usually the mentality is like that, right? Like for guys at least, if you like Daniel come up to me and be like, hey dude, I was like I was punched in the face by a girl, and I'm like, okay, like did she you not have a broken nose or anything? We just kind of brush it off because we just kind of assume it's you know for like men doesn't usually get assaulted by a woman, and even if it does, it's not very damaging, which is
Yeah.
kind of true. Um, because
Yeah.
from this book that I'm reading is called Why Men Behave Badly, and it's actually so domestic cases, like domestic violence, happen pretty much the same rate between both sexes. Okay, so like women and men commit domestic violence pretty much at the same rate. They both just as aggressive as each other. The problem is that when men commit the domestic violence, it's way more damaging than when a woman does it. Like, just imagine like a 200-pound dude like
Mm.
punching you like a 140-pound woman in the face, yeah, versus
Oh
like a
boy.
150-pound woman punching like a 180-pound dude in the face. It's gonna be difference in damage. So even while the attitude towards domestic violence is the same and the tendency towards domestic violence is the same, usually for cases get reported when it's really bad, right? Like usually the woman will have to be taken to the hospital and all this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there is truth in that sense.
Right.
But I think the misconception that people have, which I used to have this too, is that oh yeah, most domestic violence is perpetrated by men, which is not true based on statistic. It's just the one that get reported and shows the most violence is by men because of the
Right.
difference in biological sex. So I
Yeah.
that's a good misconception that I kind of learned about recently.
No, it's good that you brought that up because I wanted to clarify something I said last podcast. It's been pointed out to me.
Yeah.
Um, I didn't mean to say that every domestic violence case, every single one, okay? I didn't say that both parties have a role in it. I understand that, when there's abuse that's going on and the woman speaks up, I'm not saying that the woman's fault. She did something wrong, okay? Like, no, that's not the case. I'm just saying that when we take a step back and try to look at both parties, that's what the judge would do, right? Just to see what had happened. But usually, the woman is right and the man is wrong, okay? But I'm just saying that if we want to just get the full story, we should see both sides, just in case, because there are other cases where the woman did something wrong, like in Amber Heard's part. So I just wanted to clarify that. Not every single case, okay?
Well, I'm gonna say that when you just said that usually the woman, you know, is like exonerated while the men. So that's I don't think that's true either because like what I said, it's 50-50. But um, I'm gonna say that not every case is the same. So like yeah, some cases where like just be one victim the whole time. Like even though they
Hmm.
didn't do anything, I think that's what you're trying to say is even though they didn't do
Yeah,
anything, they're just a victim. Yeah, and
right.
that's true. I'm sure there are cases like that. Uh, but the whole thing that we're trying to say, I think that you were trying to say is, um, you gotta hear stories from both sides, and usually, this is the same case with everything in life. Usually, it takes like if a, if someone just keep egging you on and like nagging at you or like screaming at you every day when you get home, that's gonna build up something in you, even though you never react to it. And then one day it snapped. The last straw that broke the camel back, and it snapped, and it happened. And then you know, the spouse get punched in the face or something, or get shot, and then now it's that guy's fault. While they don't really consider everything that circumstances built up to that, like there could have been a whole year, like years of not physical abuse, but there's such thing as like psychological abuse, like putting the
Right,
guy
right.
down, like saying he's not good enough, or in Amber Heard's case, defecating on his bed. You remember seeing that? Yeah,
I heard about, yeah, yeah.
like that's psychological abuse.
Right.
So we gotta take into all those things, and yeah, so
Yeah, to piggyback on that. So like what I mean. Yeah, you explained it better than I did, um, but first of all, like I know the it usually ends with like the man doing something that doesn't equate to what
Well,
he went through. I
seemingly
think
doesn't equate to.
yeah, seemingly yeah, because it's something physically that he did, and then he's trying to. When we look back into it, like he was like psychologically, emotional damage,
Yeah.
Um, but people don't see it that way because what he committed, of course, that was wrong. Like he killed somebody or like he literally, punched her in the face or something, whatever. Yeah, that's does not at that moment it doesn't equate to the emotional damage and stuff that he went through or physical or emotional abuse. Um, but so that's what I want to say. Like if we do just kind of look into like the full story and like being if both parties have been honest, which like the whole time, then we would really see the whole story and like, okay, so this is how it led to this. Um, so yeah, I feel like that's how most cases are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so dang, I really want to know what's gonna happen to this case. I hope Johnny Depp is just gonna rise from this like a phoenix
Rest on the
and like
ashes.
yeah,
I
right. That's what
think,
they asked. He's
yeah, I
like, I
think
told you guys.
from what I've been seeing like over the internet and stuff is any result that come out and happen, I think most of the people's kind of at least see the toxicity of Amber Heard now and kind of feel for Johnny Depp. So let's say even if he did lose the case and Amber Heard wasn't convicted of something, at least in the court of public opinion, I think Johnny Depp
Hmm.
kind of has it
Yeah.
over
And
that
and
side.
I just want to clarify, we're not like trying to be like man versus woman right here, okay?
Right.
It's like that's not the case. Okay.
Yeah. I think no. The whole point that I brought this up all the time is just um trying to point out the fact that we kind of swinging back the other way where the Me Too movement was kind of swinging too far,
Hmm.
towards its favor, where we just kind of like believe a woman or like believe our victims.
Yeah.
And it's kind of swinging back the other way now where we're like, you know what, let's not do that. And let's not jump to conclusion right away. And before we publicly condemn someone, have some facts and evidence presented that can be verified before we
Yeah.
say anything, before we jump to conclusion. So, which is a good
Hmm.
thing, I feel like.
Yeah. I think there's like another case. I didn't really follow up on it. I want to see if you knew about it. It was like this like OnlyFans girl. She was found like with bloody like shirt and like
I heard about
knife
this.
and like she like stabbed her boyfriend and stuff.
Yeah. I
Um,
think her uh
and she bailed out, right? And like she was like
was it
found
in
like
Florida or something, and then like
yeah,
she
yeah.
slapped her like black Nigerian boyfriend.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I kind of heard,
I
but I don't
don't
really know the whole situation. But yeah, she wasn't arrested at the time because they think it was self defense.
yeah, so that's what I'm saying
So
like
I don't think she got bailed out or anything. Just she wasn't arrested.
oh,
They didn't have
yeah,
evidence. They didn't have evidence to convict her of anything.
right.
It was just
So that's what
a
I'm
case
saying
of self
like
defense.
in this case like obviously initially you like I would think like oh my gosh, she just killed the boyfriend. She's at fault, like I'm already condemning her. I'm jumping to conclusion. But like for all we know, she could have it could have been self-defense. So like it's like we don't know the full story. So I'm not like always on the guy's side. Like for her, I thought that she did get attacked. But I don't really know what actually happened. But initially, I'm like, damn, she fought back, and you know. So I don't know. I'll try to follow up on that story, but it's kind of scary.
Yeah. Well,
You
did you
know.
see the clip of Mike Tyson punching some dude in the airplane?
Yeah, dude, that guy that got punched should go into boxing because he survived.
Well, I don't
That's
think Mike Tyson
crazy.
is trying to like kill him, but
You
yeah,
sure, man?
it's
He's
essentially like from the clip, it was literally this guy. It looks like first class too, probably. The with the
yeah,
seats and stuff. So this guy was recording another guy sitting
sure.
behind Mike Tyson, and this guy was just, man, he seemed like such a. I think he started like drunk, and he was just like, I don't know, rapping to Mike Tyson, kind of like getting up in his face.
His face,
So
yeah.
he's sitting right behind Mike Tyson, and Mike Tyson was with his back to him. So he was just kind of like leaning over to the seat and like saying stuff and kind of like bothering him the whole time. from what the video is showing, and the friend recording it was just kind of laughing, and so I'm just like, I don't feel bad for this guy that get punched in the face repeatedly.
Yeah.
Like, why are you annoying people and getting in public? And I'm sure Mike Tyson, I don't know, probably told him to stop at least once
Mm.
before he just turned around and wailed on him. But I don't know. What do you think? Have you seen it?
I think yeah, I've seen it. I think he was drunk, I think, or he was on something because he kept bothering Mike Tyson over and over again. He wouldn't stop. I think he took a selfie with him or something, from what I read.
Yeah.
Like Mike Tyson actually like took a selfie with him or whatever and was pretty chill about it.
Yeah.
But then he just got super annoying.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
was
So
bleeding. He was bleeding.
a little bit.
Did you see? A little bit there. I'm like, damn, dude, Mike Tyson still got it. Dude, getting punched by Mike Tyson. The
I'm sure.
tightest
I'm
fight.
sure he wasn't blocking correctly. But yeah, man, like celebrities are humans too. Like, don't be disrespectful and to other people, or you're gonna get punched in the face.
No, it's true, dude. I I went to UCI, right? So you know, like when Kobe Bryant, oh, RIP to Kobe, but he would like hang out around UCI and like the town center, you know, where like all like the desserts and places are, like the Golden Spoon. It's a nice yogurt ice cream place. He would go there with his family, and I actually saw him once with his family at Golden Spoon. And initially, I was like, I want to approach to him, like, to say hi, like, get an autograph. But I'm like, dude, he's with his family, you know, like, this is
Yeah.
gonna be so awkward. Just going up to him, and I don't see anyone else doing it. So I'm like, dude, I think, yeah, like, they're humans too. Like, he's out with his family, just having, some dessert. Like, the last thing they would want is just to have somebody, ruin their family, bonding time. Just like, oh, can you take a picture or autograph? So I was like.
Yeah. I mean, at least you have some
I kind
sense.
of
But a lot of people, just because I feel like because they're celebrities, that they feel like they're entitled to do that to celebrities because they're like, oh yeah, I'm your biggest fan or whatever, or like I pay money to see you play, and like it's
hmm
like a opportunity once in a lifetime. So they just kind of disregard all those common sense and like common social
yeah,
norms, respects and stuff. And just there's people like that, and it's weird. It's like a sense of
yeah,
entitlement that I've never really felt. Like either like, oh, I invested so much time like following you, like I respond to all your posts and I buy all your movie tickets, I buy all your like concert tickets, so I have the rights to get in your space and get a picture with you or something. So it's
yeah.
strange.
I went through a phase where I was looking up videos of celebrities
Korean
getting
pop
mad.
star.
No, no, not Korean pop stars, or like just celebrities in general getting annoyed at fans.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah,
Tobey Maguire is one of the.
he's one of the worst. Huh?
he's, he's one of
Yeah, dude. Like, I mean,
I think.
I totally don't blame them, man. I'm like, imagine every day going through that stuff and everybody just, you're just trying to go out and walk your dog and everyone just coming up to you, bothering you, disrupting your life.
Yeah,
It's the worst.
it is. Yeah, man. Damn, what else did I see today? Dude, did you hear the news? Yeah, where in Stockton there was like this teenager, she got like stabbed like multiple times, like right outside of her school by like some homeless man.
Outside your school?
Like outside of like the school
A
near
school? Oh, okay.
Stockton. Yeah, yeah. Where I was doing my rotation. Um it's all over the news and stuff.
Was it the
Crazy.
Asian girl?
Yeah. And she
I
had a
think.
massive transfusion inside our hospital.
Oh
Like
wow.
I remember hearing a massive transfusion.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And it's all over the news and the guy actually got caught and everything. But yeah, I remember that day we were like rounding and we just hear massive transfusion and then like it was like on the news like you know how patients room they have like a TV, like that was playing on the news,
Oh wow.
like oh a teenager got stabbed and like um but anyways like I was just so shocked. I was like wait why? Like this happened in the middle of the day, daylight time, And why did a homeless man stab like a teenage girl? And like, it was just, and then he just got caught right there and there. It just seemed kind of suspicious.
You think
And
it
I
was like
know
a hit?
Stockton isn't like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like
Someone
Stockton
put a
isn't
hit
the
out on her?
safest place, maybe. But anyways, 2 or 3 days later, I was in the nurses station, doing med student stuff, faxing, records, and I overheard the nurses, and they're like, "Dude, the girl she ditched school to throw rocks at the homeless camp with her
Oh,
friends." Oh my God! And I was like, "Wait, really? Like this is out? Like yeah, they found out that there was a group of kids just ditching school to like harass homeless people." And then they got chased by one of the homeless guys, and she fell, and she was the one that got
she
stabbed.
gets stabbed.
And then that kind of completes the story. I was like, wow, I mean, it doesn't equate to her dying and getting stabbed, but
She
like,
died?
still, that's yeah, she died.
Oh, shoot. Well,
They did it, yeah. So, um, that's just crazy.
karma.
And then I was thinking, wait, my brain is weird. I'm like, is this a TikTok trend?
Like, throw
Like
rocks at.
kids,
Dude, it could be,
kids,
man.
kids like filming them like throwing rocks at homeless people. Like I feel like that could totally be a trend and that going on. And I was just like things just going in my head. I'm like, and then Ashley, one of our friends, she gave us like a story of like this TikTok trend, like people shooting pellet guns at people walking by. Did you read that one?
I remember,
I think
was
she
that what it was?
yeah. So like, dude, I honestly think where am I going with this? I think TikTok is so toxic, dude.
Yeah.
Especially for the younger generation. I think um it's poison. It's like totally changing the behaviors of our younger generation. Um that is harming, you know. Like the trends, they don't see any consequences with that. They just think it's just something cool to do to get more, clout and views, but they don't see the repercussions,
Yeah, I mean, because
which makes
every views that they get kind of increase the dopamine
it
release in
increases
their
the
brain.
dopamine. It kind of gives them that feedback, like, "Whoa, this
It
is
rewards them.
yeah." So, the whole concept of evolution, right, is like we do something that gets dopamine. Like it it gives us the feedback. Well, this is something good. This is what I'm supposed to do because I'm getting rewarded. You know. So like I feel like our human species is devolving because of TikTok. That is what I think is happening. It's horrible. It's
You hear,
horrible. Like the whole.
you hear about
Yeah, go
how.
ahead.
So the theory is that I think I heard this by Andrew Schultz. He's one of the comedian, but the theory is that so in China, you know, like they have TikTok in China, and in order to get trending, you don't get trending by doing stupid stuff. So all the videos that get you trends, it's like doing sciencey stuff, doing like experiments, doing
Hmm.
academic stuff, and those are the stuff that you do that will put you to the front page. You know, that will help you. So the algorithm will put you to the front page and get you more exposure. You do all these things and like showing that you like studying really well or something. So the theory is that so because TikTok is owned by like a Chinese company, so the theory is that TikTok is promoting all these stupid stuff in the U.S. in the Western culture, and making so all these kids are like, oh, if I want to get a lot of views and get big on TikTok, and I do these stupid
Oh my
dances
God.
and do these stupid pranks, so they start promoting those things, and then you're like, if I do these things really stupid and being stupid, then I get a lot of views and likes, and I get all these dopamine hits, and I'll be famous. Versus in China, where they promoting kids kind of like, oh,
Oh
if I study really
God.
hard and I get into prestigious university, if I do these science experiments, I'm gonna blow up on TikTok, and then that's gonna change what the kids gonna be doing, because
In
in
China
order
though,
to get,
yeah. Oh my
and then
God.
China would ban you make like
The
stupid
stupid stuff.
videos, or like criminalize you or something. Like dude, the worst trend that I saw was when kids were stealing stuff from school.
Oh yeah,
I forgot what it was
devious lick.
called. Yeah,
Devious lick.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah, and then it's just like literally stealing, like literally committing crime, videoing it on your personal profile. Like, how stupid do you have to be to do that stuff? But yeah, I think that's the theory that I heard. And I was like, dude, you know what? Like, I wouldn't be surprised if that was true.
That's crazy, man. My mind is blown. I really,
You never heard that
I
theory
really
before?
believe. No, but
Oh,
I
okay.
really believe it now. So
It makes
crazy.
sense though, right? It's like because you always kind of like watching these things. You're like, how are these on like the trending page of YouTube and trending page of TikToks and like the stupidest stuff, and you just don't understand.
Oh my goodness. That's crazy, dude. So China is like totally changing how American kids are acting. Like literally they could get American kids to kill each other and kill their parents or
Yeah,
something.
they can just like those what those crate challenge where people get like punctured like hemothorax and like stuff. Remember those?
What?
Remember there's a trend on TikTok where they stack up milk. Okay, I think it was the milk carton challenge where they stack up like milk cartons
Uh-huh.
and
I've
then
never seen that.
then you gotta try to walk across it and they stack up really high, probably like 10, 12 feet, dude. Yeah,
Oh my
and
God.
then like walk up and then like walk down without falling, and it's because milk carton is kind of like really swaying and stuff.
Oh,
So people would fall from like 8, 10 feet high, like land on one of those cartons, just like
oh
I
my
think when I was
God.
doing my rotation, there was like a bunch during that trend. There was a bunch of people going to the ER with like collapsed lungs and like punctured lungs and stuff. That's how you
That's
die.
crazy. Yeah. Oh my
I'm
God.
surprised you didn't hear about that one.
No.
That's pretty big.
There's just so many, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Then you can
So
ask
I
yourself like, who came up with these trends in the first place, right? I mean, I'm sure
no, I
stupid
think
kids,
you
but
have
then
a
like,
good point.
who pushes the
Yeah.
agenda? So
It's the algorithm and like you said, China
yeah, so the algorithm just like,
obviously
oh,
owns
this looks
TikTok.
really, you know, like a way to get people killed, so let's push it.
I really can somebody investigate this? Whoever's listening, please investigate. I want to know. Oh my God. Let's see.
So I found this
Oh
Reddit thread
man.
on medical school on the subreddit, and it was someone asking for what's the craziest reasons medical students have been kicked out of class. Yeah,
Ooh.
and I'm just gonna read a few for you here.
Yeah.
So there was a so someone said so there's a guy who had in a class who had a girlfriend back home in the States. So I'm guessing this might be a creamy man, like SEU or something. So he had a girlfriend back in state, but he was single on the island. So his name, let's call him Rahul, and Rahul ended up dating and hooking up with some girl in class. Let's call her Mary, and the girl back home is
Raul Mary, okay.
Rahul Mary. His girlfriend back home named Brittany.
Okay.
But Mary doesn't know that Rahul have a girlfriend back home. So and he said he was completely single when he's on the island. So then Mary ended up posting some pictures of her and Rahul on Instagram, and then his girlfriend back home, Brittany, saw the pictures and messaged Rahul. And she also messaged Mary, and then Mary was like, "Well, I didn't know like he had a girlfriend back home." So then when he got home with Brittany, so Mary broke up with Rahul after she found out. And then on the island, word got out that he was cheating and he was a scumbag and his reputation's trash. And people were like didn't really talk to him, kind of like shun him. And so Rahul came back home to talk to his Brittany, his previous girlfriend, to clear things out. But they found out he ended up beating her, bruises to the face and a black eye. Her parents found out and called the cops, and
Oh
so
my
Rahul was charged with assault, and then he got expelled from the school.
dude. That's insane.
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, this guy shouldn't be a doctor anyway. If he has that kind of split personality like that,
No
due
integrity.
to yeah, that's crazy. So it's a good thing that he got expelled. But dang, man. But I can see why, when you're long distance, you're in place, new to you, and you're stressed because of medical school makes you studying, and then you're probably studying with like a group, and then you start liking someone else. I can see how that could happen.
Yeah, but this guy came in
But
saying that he was single the whole time, so he was ready
you're
for a
ready.
new thing. He was like, "Oh, new
That's true.
island, we separate by the Atlantic Ocean." So
Oh my God.
okay, so not medical school, intern year, and this guy got arrested by the FBI a few months into intern year because it turns out he was a pedophile, and while in medical school, he has sex with a girl nearly 10 years younger than him. So he's still in prison.
The heck? Wait, what specialty did he get into?
It doesn't say. Just know he's in intern year. So I'm just saying,
Pediatrics. Oh my God.
med school, it's like what average age for med school is like what, 25, 26?
Yeah.
That's kind of late,
Yeah.
right? We're looking at let's add a few years on like 25, 26. So he was like 26, having a sexual relationship with a 16 years old, 15, 16.
Yeah.
So statutory rape.
Yeah. This is not looking good for medical students, man.
It's not, dude. I'm telling you, man. Like some you'd be surprised how many weird people get through the process and end up being medical students.
Yeah.
We know quite a few weird ones when we were on the island too.
Oh, there's one that I know. No, not that I know, but
You heard of?
I heard of. Okay, so I heard from his roommate. Okay, um, I don't want to say names or anything, but he said that every night this guy would come back like super wired because he's been like snorting cocaine the whole night,
Was it med student?
and like yes, he's a med student, and he would come home after like partying all night at like 3 a.m. making a ruckus. So like the guy that told me the story, like he was never able to study or even sleep, and he would the guy would come home tell like these wild stories like, oh, I was like with 5 girls in the same bed and we're just having like orgies and all this stuff, just doing drugs, and he's just like, wait, this got to be fake, but it's not. And then he shows like how much money he has. He's always saying like I'm a millionaire and stuff, and it's true. So apparently, his parents are like multimillionaires, and they said that they will give him money, or like they'll put him on their will or whatever, as long as he finishes medical school. So he was like, okay, fine, I'll just go to SGU or whatever, the Caribbean school, and then I'll just like do whatever I want, just party. He actually is very, very smart. Like he doesn't need to study, and he'll just like barely pass.
Yeah.
But that's all he needs, right? So this whole time he's just partying, and then he's saying all these things like, "Oh yeah, like I have millions of dollars and all these stuff. Like I I can buy anything I want and stuff." And then the guy that told me the story was like, "Dude, I couldn't study and stuff, so I had to like report him to the school."
This was during like on the island, or
Yeah, they're in the
uh,
island. But
he was
then he
doing
was very
cocaine and
stuck.
having orgies while on the island.
Yeah, yeah.
Dang,
And just like doing all these drugs and stuff. Isn't that
how?
crazy? While still passing on his test. Yeah, the guy didn't tell me the name and everything, but yeah, um but he's like he couldn't take it anymore. He went and to like the I don't know, the whoever does the management and stuff. I don't know. He says that I can't. This roommate, I need to move. Like I can't do any of my studies or anything. But he was stuck. He was like, I don't know if I should report that he's doing drugs or anything because I know that'll kick him out. He's trying to be all nice. I'm like, dude, just this guy does not belong here. Like, I would have just told them the story and like just have some evidence, a video or something.
Yeah.
But eventually, they're like, no, we can't change you. Like, there's no opening room that you can go to, and so it sucked for a while. But then eventually somebody found out his situation and helped out. He's like, okay, dude, just like get all your stuff packed. Like I'll move you the next day. Like
Nice.
so. Fortunately, yeah, he was able to get out of that situation. But I'm like, dude, who's this guy?
Probably still practicing. Huh? I mean, probably still doing rotation and stuff. Who knows?
Yeah, because that was the only um thing that he promised the parents. He said that he just needs to get this MD degree, and then they'll get off his back. You know, some people are just privileged. You know, some people just are winning in life without trying, which is unfair. But yeah, dude, a lot of medical students out there that don't belong. Um, it's kind of scary. Yeah. And some practicing physicians too. Did you hear? Oh, you already. I told you about Dr. Death, right?
Yeah,
That's a good podcast.
sound like something Dr. Depp would do.
Yes, you guys should listen to Dr. Death. If you guys have a chance. It's an amazing podcast. Now they have a TV show on Peacock. If you sign up with Peacock, you get 3 episodes free. We're not sponsored by Peacock anyway, but
Not yet.
not yet. But yeah, um, I wanted to follow up on the story. I didn't about this uh, the gay frogs.
Yeah.
Remember I mentioned that last time, but like
Yeah.
I didn't do a good job because I forgot everything. So the chemical is atrazine. It's a pesticide. Have you heard of atrazine?
Atrazine?
Atrazine.
Astrogene? No, I don't think so.
Atrazine. Yeah. So that's the chemical, okay? And so it's just like a pesticide. And I looked it up more because I wanted to tell you it actually does. It's a chemical castration. That's the term, and it does that to frogs. So it literally just changes their whole sexual anatomy from male to female. Dude, that's crazy. It is like confirmed by multiple studies. Um, but then the company that makes atrazine, they've been trying to suppress all those studies. You know, like when someone like releases a study, like a trial, and then like people try to replicate it just to confirm if it works. So like all those replication trials, like it all confirmed it. But then the atrazine is like trying to just like I don't know how they're doing it, but they're trying to suppress that data so people don't know. Um, and then now people are trying to think like, does this have any effect on humans? Like, is this why my kids are turning gay and stuff like that? It's pretty crazy, dude. But I don't know where it's at right now. I don't know if the company is still in business or whatever, but um, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Now, is it turning the frog gay after they have the male sexual partner and they just turn to
Yeah,
female parts?
yeah. So like
Or are they
that's the
just born
extreme.
with like an XY gene and then they have female parts?
No, they are completely like normal, already males, like adult male frogs, right?
Okay.
And when they've been exposed to this chemical, it the typical common case is that they'll just be infertile, right?
Yeah.
But in extreme cases, they actually totally transform, like their anatomy
Well, I mean,
somehow
that's the
changes
same.
for some reason.
That's the same with, let's say, humans, right? Like chemical castration. So let's say, so block the testosterone level
Yeah.
and pump them full of estrogen, so you're gonna start getting man boobies, so you can start getting breasts.
Hmm.
That's an animal
Yeah.
and an anatomical change. You're not gonna have a high sex drive anymore because your testosterone is down. I don't know, and then your testicles gonna atrophy. So
Yeah.
yeah, so I mean the same thing with humans. We start chemically castrating them.
I know. So, but this is The reason
But no,
why
so that's why I'm at like. So does it? So let's say the male frog have like a penis. Does it like? Is it gonna morph into like a vagina and like a uterus and ovaries and stuff too, or like? So when you say that, what do you
yeah,
mean? Is it actually
yeah,
morph into like ovaries and
it,
uterus and stuff?
it morphs into a female anatomy. Yeah, over time, as long as they're exposed. I don't know the quantity of the chemical
Mm-hmm.
because this is like just runoff from the farms, right? Um, so like the studies are showing in extreme cases that that's what actually happens to the
So
frog.
just in extreme cases.
Yeah. Um, but that got people worried because like obviously we drink water too that's run off from like the mountains or whatever. I don't know if
Yeah,
it might get contaminated by the chemical. So that was
that can explain why
like
there's been a was it a study that shows there's a decrease in testosterone level in millennial men.
really
Yeah,
that's just
that's where the term soy boy come from.
soy boy.
Soy boys, you heard that?
I've always heard of soy boy. I never knew where that came from.
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
You know, like
It's
what
not
is
because
that?
the testosterone level is low, but it's like a like the look, it's like kind of like soft and like Korean, like K-pop kind of looks like BTS and stuff. I'm gonna get tapped by BTS fans for
Oh,
this, but
yeah, you're good. I was like,
but
don't do. Ah,
essentially,
you
come on, man.
did
Like,
it.
hey, attack me if you want, but that's the style of the soy boys, kind of like more effeminate. Uh,
Yeah,
so
there's some girls like that. You know, it's not a bad thing. You know,
when it's a
everyone
bad,
has their.
I don't know. Do you think Patty when you start dressing like that? I'm
Probably,
having low testosterone level.
probably not, probably not. But you know, other people will like this type of stuff. So who am I to judge?
Yeah. I mean, you gotta know who's your targeted audience is, right? You're trying to get those
Who?
K-pop, you're trying to get those BTS army fans girls, then you
To
start dressing
listen
like
to us?
BTS and cutting your hair like it.
My hairstylist. I have a hairstylist.
I need to
She
find a new
uh
hairstylist.
she only knows how to cut my hair. To have special hair. She was like, you should try the BTS style. You know, they're like perming their hair or like they're dyeing it like really bright colors and stuff. And they're wearing like earrings and stuff. I'm like, what are you trying to do? I don't want to try that, but I'll be working in a hospital. I
Yeah,
don't want
and I'm a
to
30-year-old man. I'm
touch that.
not trying to attract like 14, 15 years old girls here.
Yeah, but I guess I took that as a compliment. She thinks I could pull it off or something, or maybe she thinks I need to look younger.
Maybe she still think
Yeah,
you're like 16 or something.
I wish. Yeah. I
So
also wrote. Go ahead.
St. James School of Medicine.
Is this a rip off of St. George? What is this?
So they paying $1.2 million to students in refunds and debt cancellation because the FTC made them.
Because who made them?
The FTC, the Federal Trade Commission.
What? Why? What happened?
So this is what the FTC said. They said St. James lures students by lying about their chances of success. The settlement agreement was with HRDS, which bills itself as providing students from non-traditional background the opportunity to pursue a medical degree and practice in the U.S. or Canada, according to the school statement. So they lure consumers with false guarantees of student success at passing a critical medical school standardized test, the U.S. Step 1 exam. For example, a brochure distributed at open houses claimed a first-time Step 1 pass rate of about 96.8%. And the brochure also claimed that St. James is the first and only medical school to offer a USMLE Step 1 pass guarantee. So I went on the website and looked at what that means because I never heard of a Step 1 pass guarantee before. But
Sounds like
apparently,
an app.
if you fail it, then they will pay for they will offer you to pay for they will pay for your like supplemental like kind of like Kaplan or like DIT training classes to help pass the step one up to $5,000. That's what the guarantee means. Yeah.
Oh.
And I found out that the school also misrepresented the residency match rate as the same as American medical schools, according to the complaint. For example, the school instructed telemarketers to tell consumers that the match rate for the school students was 85% to 90%. The school stated on its website that the match rate for St. James students was 83%. In fact, the match rate for St. James students is lower than touted and lower than that reported by the U.S. Med School. Since 2018, defendants' average match rate has been 63%. So,
Oh my
the
god.
FTC stepped in and we're like, we gotta get back to money for the past 5 years. People who went to the school. So, for profit, Caribbean Med School. I feel like this could easily been us, man. Like reading, like going to the St. James website and reading, like the statement stuff, like SUU, like I don't know.
That's some
What do
shady
you think?
stuff, man. That's some very shady stuff. But did they advertise that they're for profit
Yeah,
and
it's not like these.
everything? Everything is transparent, right?
Yeah, but
Oh,
because I feel like, do you think the pass rate for St. George's step one is like 90 something
there's
percent?
no. I think there's definitely no.
That's what I'm
There's
saying.
some
Like
falsely, yeah,
this like some confounding data that they're not reporting and stuff, and
yeah.
so yeah, it's sus, bro,
It's very
sus.
sus.
But yeah,
You
so
know,
the
like,
point I'm trying to make is like Caribbean Med School guys, you gotta be careful. Probably if you go to my main YouTube channel, I'll be talking about this, but like why you should not go to SGU and why you should and like who this is for. But you be careful when you go to for-profit Caribbean Med School. You gotta pick the top four: SGU, Ross's,
mhm,
American University, the Caribbean, and what's the fourth one? Saba or something.
Saba,
But I
yeah.
think out of all those, I think I got Ross SGU. But
Mhm.
Ross is risky because you get hit by hurricanes and you have to end up on a cruise ship. So, but SGU
Yeah,
is the most expensive.
he's most successful.
Yeah, but yeah, like this, I feel like this could easily be an SGU. Like everything's about it. Because SGU is not out, like whatever result you see on the SGU webpage is like 90 something percent pass rate for step one. I don't think it's gonna be. I don't think it's that high in the real number. Like
Hmm.
90 something percent match rate for the residencies. Again, I also don't think it's that high.
Hmm.
You know, the average for US IMG was match rate this
Hmm.
cycle, like 60 something percent.
Really?
That's US IMG, yeah. So I was like, I
What does that
when I
entail?
saw
Like,
that status, like that stat, I was just like, well, I'm like, dude, like for us, like my friends, like who got into residency, we like actually really lucky and blessed. Like we won the
hmm
60% who match versus the 40% who didn't. So scary.
is that for like everyone who applied?
Yeah. So that's for all specialty.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So that also includes like people with, like
Who soap too?
yeah, like if you because if you solve, you consider a match.
Right.
So yeah, like returning applicants, like people with soap and
That's across the board IMG, not just SGU. I wonder if SGU is like on the higher end.
yeah, but like how much high can it
It's
be?
like
Like
an
you think
average.
actually you think it's like 90 something percent, but like you think actually is 30 something percent more than the average.
No. But like what is the populate like I guess what's the breakdown of all IMGs? You know, because the IMG we have to consider like other countries too, you know,
Well,
right?
no, so I said US IMG is 60%.
Oh, oh,
For all IMGs, it's like 50 something.
oh, wow.
Yeah,
It's even lower. Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah, like
Dang, man.
Canadians and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, but I feel like the people that get tricked by these people is you can't like let this be a warning to you guys. When you guys listen to this podcast, like before you go to Korean med school, make sure you do your research real well. And I can't tell you how many times I talk to students in the island where they're like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go to orthopedic surgery or ophthalmology or something." I'm like, I mean, you can try, but it's be very tough to get in. Like you gotta come on the island with realistic expectation, and like unless you have really good, your father is like a PD of the ortho program and have really good connections, something. There's no way you're gonna get those things
Connection.
like neurosurgery and stuff. Come on.
Even U.S. schools have trouble, like especially DO schools. I talked to some student from Toro, and like their top, like he's literally top of his class, like I don't know, 280 like step score. It's
Sheesh.
super smart. Yeah, he wasn't able to match into his top specialty.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, if they can't do it, then MG is just
Yeah.
huge. It's impossible. That's why you go into. It's good if you want to do like primary care or even like internal medicine.
Yeah. The only
If you have
reason,
a good chance.
yeah, you get a chance you do primary care. So like you go to Korean med school, you like don't want to waste time, and
So I think
you
it's
know that
actually
you're
pretty
willing to
good
do
for
primary
that.
care. So
Yeah, I think it's good for that because we actually do. We are in a
we do need
shortage of
primary care.
primary
Yeah.
care. Yeah,
So
and that's not bad. So you know what? I forgot to say this in the beginning
what
about advice. Don't
was
take anything we say as you
oh
know.
it's okay. I think for now I'm just gonna put like a disclaimer into the video. I'll have to record like a part that we can just like an intro and outro and intro just be like yeah like don't listen to anything we say, so we can just like
But
throw
that's
that in
not
every single time.
natural.
I mean I don't want to be
Yeah, we
saying
can
it
do
every
that.
single podcast. I
I
mean you
know.
can if you want, but
Just so it protects us, I guess. Don't take any of this as advice, guys.
that's professional advice.
As professional advice.
Hmm.
Also, like, remember when we wanted to start this podcast, we were supposed to practice something like in our speech or like use don't say or like a lot. I think we should start
Okay.
doing that
Yeah, I've been listening
next
to all the old
podcast,
ones
I guess.
and I say a lot of like and okay,
Like, yeah, me too. It's gonna
like and okay,
record.
yeah, and yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So there's this article that talks about how match interviews should stay virtual to be more equitable. So I want to hear your thoughts on that.
Wait, say that again?
They want to keep the match interviews to be virtual to make it a more equitable process for everybody.
I just feel like everybody thought like this was so easy and efficient on both ends, for the students and for the staff and faculty. They're like, there's no way we can go back to like
Yeah,
old ways again, which is I personally think that's a good idea. As someone who's gonna apply this year, I think that gives me a bigger opportunity to cast my net wide
yeah,
everywhere across the and I can see on their side that's beneficial. They can see more applicants. Um, because before, you had to like travel across the country, get a hotel or stay at a friend's place, Airbnb and whatnot, and then go on campus and like have like this tour. The staff, they have to like take a huge chunk of their day. They have to work too and take care of patients. So then other people have to cover their shifts. So I think it's like a huge disruption to their flow of things when it comes to interview season. So with this method of interviewing, like, I feel like it's more adaptable and it's easier on both ends. So I think it's good,
Yeah, you
to
really
be
keep it like
honest.
this. Well,
I'd rather
I'm
keep
gonna counter what you say because now you have to spend more time doing interviews because now you're interviewing pretty much double the amount of applicants.
that is that is true. I can see how that
Let's say when it was
can
in person,
happen.
you only need to interview 50 students to fill your 10
Right.
spots. But
But I
because of
feel like
virtual interview, now you need to interview 100 students in order to get the same 10 spots to match.
right. But at the end of the whole interview process, I feel like if you compare the time spent, I feel like it's still the same because the interviews. Well, I don't do interviews, but like, do you? Is there like 10 students on the Zoom call at once? Right? How many
Depending on
students?
programs, but usually, what do you mean, like when they call all of
A
us at
big.
once?
Yeah, yeah.
Because you gotta remember that interviews still one-on-one in person. So even if you dare, you're still only getting one-on-one time with each faculty members. So let's
Mm,
say it's 30 minutes for each session. It's still one-on-one, 30-minute each session. They're not interviewing like multiple people at once.
okay. No, I get that. I get that. But I guess what I'm trying to say is like we should have somebody who like interviewed back in the old
In
days
person, yeah.
in person and see like how did they do that, you know? Um, did it take just as long or longer or less? I don't know. Um, but
Let's,
I personally
yeah,
think
well,
it's
let
better.
me kind of tell you what the gist of this article means, then we can talk more about it. So essentially, just this article saying that because there's gonna be some students who's like rich. I like this. Bless you. So he's saying, quote, children of rich parents could attend more interviews, more widely spread interviews, and interviews scheduled closer together because they're rich and they have money to kind of, spend on airfare and driving around and hotels and stuff. And that's going to give them the a legs up over a medical student who doesn't have as much money. So that's what I mean by if you make it virtual, it's going to be equitable. And I hate that term equitable because it used to be equality, but now it's equitable. So I really don't like it. You know the difference between the two terms?
No, no.
So when you're talking about equality, you're talking about equal opportunities. So everybody has the same opportunities to do something or to get something. But when you're talking about equity, you're talking about
Equitable.
equal outcome. So people, not necessarily equal opportunity, but people are going to have the same outcome. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So before it was like, oh yeah, a poor student should get, you know, still like 80% chance of getting matched into medical school as a white student.
Hmm.
But now with equal outcome, they're saying that your school gotta have at least 20% poor students.
Mm.
If you don't have 20% poor
Then,
students, that's not equitable.
oh.
Versus before, you can have less than 20% of poor students, but students still have the same chance of getting in. But now they look at the outcome. They say because you don't have the same outcome, that means you're discriminating against poor students. So that's what I don't like about this new thing they're going for. Anyway, yeah. So
Mm.
I don't really. I mean, this guy has a point that yeah. I mean, you're gonna be rich and you have this opportunity, this advantage over everyone else, which is. I'm reading this book called The Unfair Advantage. Have you heard of it? So it
No.
essentially talks about you. Literally, everybody has an unfair advantage that you can and should use to boost your um, life and your work and your efficiency and make you successful, pretty much, right?
Hmm.
Like,
Hmm.
and a lot of people at the time, like people call it unfair word, but it's not. Yeah, I mean, life is unfair, and nothing's gonna be the same in life. We are not all born like just you being born in the United States is already give you an unfair advantage over people who are born in Vietnam. Literally,
Hmm.
doesn't matter how you poor or rich. If you're born in the United States, you're probably like better off than people who was born in Africa
Hmm.
or like Burma or something, like a third world country. Like literally, you already have access to good education, good healthcare. You have
Mm-hmm.
access to equal opportunity. You can go to college. Like people in Vietnam can't go to college. You gotta have money for that.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people drop out before high school. They can't finish high school. They don't have money to pay for that.
Right.
Anyway, so unfair advantage. So like you can't expect equal outcome for everybody because everybody have a different set of unfair advantage, and everyone makes choices differently. It's called free will, right? Like
Okay.
the reason why you have different set of outcome is because people make choices differently. Like if I have the same talent set as you, let's say like in playing the guitar, and
Mm-hmm.
but I decide to spend an extra hour a day practicing my guitar, and you decide to spend an extra hour a day playing basketball with your friend instead of
Mm-hmm.
practicing. I'm gonna get better than you at guitar, and you're gonna get better than me at basketball.
Right.
So it's not necessarily my talent that got me there, but it's just the decision I made to practice guitar more. And you're gonna be better
Okay.
than me in
Got you.
basket, and you're gonna be better than me in basketball because of you spend an extra hour. Anyway, so the different outcome, you can't look at it and be like, hey, this guy going to the same teacher for guitar. How come this guy's better? That means tennis, you know, just naturally have better talent. But that's not true. We just we make different decisions. So the point I'm trying to make is in this article is like you say that only rich kids can, schedule more interviews and do widely spread interviews and schedule close together. But I don't think that's true. As medical students ourselves, like we're both pretty poor. We come from immigrant family, first generation,
Mm-hmm.
and we don't have like savings or anything for college. We all getting student loans. But I know I spent like $5,000-6,000 drop application on 256 application for residency because I knew how important it was. I put in my credit card. I borrow loans and spend, try to save up money from all the loans. I didn't eat as much, or like try to live in cheap places so I can spend money towards residency applicant process.
Mm-hmm.
So it would not have hold me back if we had to do in-person interview because I knew I had to prepare for that anyway. You know my point? You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like I was still attending the same amount of required interviews I need to hit my 90% acceptance rate. Like if I knew that I need to hit 15 in-person interview, I'll try to hit those numbers despite how much it costs me. So you can say this maybe for like high school or something, but I don't think the argument still stand because medical students understand how important it is to get into a residency.
Hmm. Okay. Wait. So let me see if I understand this. So the term equitable, right? He's coining that term for this scenario
Well, that
as
term,
long as the outcomes are equal between rich medical students and poor students, right? That's what he's saying. That this method of interviewing will have
this method of interviewing, yeah, will
will
allow
have an uh-huh.
both rich and poor students to, let's say, end up with 20 interviews at the end.
Yeah. But you're but I see you are disagreeing with that because you're saying no, I'm poor, but I still had to dish out a lot of money because that was m- my decision to do that because I knew that I had to dish out this much in order to get my goal of interviews so I get 90% match rate. So it doesn't matter if I was poor or not. Is that's what you're saying? I still had to make that decision.
Yeah, like,
So it doesn't matter that this method doesn't matter because if it was the other method, the old method, you would have done the same, although it
I
would have
will spend the
costed
same,
more.
yeah. Yeah, I will have
But it would have cost more.
do the same
Yeah.
method and spend as much money as I need to get the same amount of interviews.
Yeah.
So it's not like I'm gonna
I
end up
see
with
what
less
you're saying.
interviews just because it's gonna be in-person interviews.
No. Because your own free will, like you said, your own decision that you made,
Right.
you're like, I need to. It doesn't matter how much it's gonna cost me, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
But let me tell you this, but there are other people out there that can't do that. Maybe they are already in too much debt. So it can be an obstacle, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, so that's what I was gonna bring up. So I mean, that's just me. That's what I would do. But do you think other medical students, let's say who are kind of in the lowest, doesn't have as much money, you think that's be a hindrance for them?
I think so. It's like, yeah, I think so. If it was like if it was the old way of interviewing and stuff, for sure, I think there is a handful of people that can't get as much interviews just because they don't have the resources. Um, but I totally agree with you. The way that he used that term is not correct. But
Well,
I honestly
my
think
problem
that
isn't
this
him with
can
him using that term. I just don't like how it's not just him that uses it, but it's like a lot of social, economic, theorists and stuff is starting to turn to that term now and stuff using the word term
oh,
equality, which is why I don't like. I just kind of brought it in. It's not that's not why I have a problem with him saying that.
oh, okay, yeah,
But
okay.
my problem is what I just said. It's like I think it's just because I don't think it would change if you make it in person. Because like how many percentage of like medical student you think is like rich with rich parents, and like how do you define rich?
When they're like middle class or high upper class, I
So
feel
like
like that's rich.
let's say in terms of medical school tuition, like if the parents pay for medical school, you think that's rich?
Yes.
Okay. What if the parents doesn't pay for the medical school? Is that poor or what?
How are they paying it then? Through loan?
Yeah.
The kids are paying, or the student is paying for himself?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
then I think
how like
how would say that's low.
how many percentage of medical students in
Have
on
parents
average
paying
have
for
parents
their,
who pay for the full tuition?
probably not that many.
I don't think that's that many.
Yeah.
So does that mean the rest of like the medical students are considered poor? And they so like just by this he's saying children of rich parents got 10 more interviews. I'm like, what do you mean by like how rich is rich? Because the majority of medical students have to borrow loans for medical school.
Yeah. I see what you're gonna say.
Like
I
it's like
really want to know the data though.
yeah, I mean, I didn't look it up, but I'm pretty sure because there's no way that more than 50% of our class have the tuition paid for by their parents.
Mm.
There's no way. Like literally
That
everyone I
guy
met,
that I told you.
literally except for that guy who does cocaine and stuff. But again, that's like the extreme, right? Like
Yeah.
everyone I met, every classmate I ran into, none of them have their tuition paid for. They're all paying for themselves. They all got student loans.
Hmm. I see what you're trying to say. But this makes it easier.
I mean, I agree it's easier, but again, that's like the pros and cons of like that's like kind of like a separate topic, but pros and cons of like virtual versus some people like I would have preferred kind of like going there to meet the staff themselves. Um, and it's a way for you to kind of well let's talk from the student perspective, right? From the applicant's perspective. It's nice to get there, see what the buildings look like, see what the offices look like, see what the traffic like, see what the parking is like, see what the staffs are actually like in person, actually deal with the staff, like so not the faculty members, but the staff at the clinic and stuff, or in the hospital. Because when you get interviewed on virtual, you only talk to the faculty members and program director. You're not talking to the staff like MAs and nurses and stuff, front desk people, because those people are, you're gonna be working a lot with those people too. You don't get that virtual. Um,
So yeah, you have a good point.
Yeah, just like because this is totally different vibe when you actually in the place and you get to like see the day, like talk to residents and stuff. Like this, dude, the social residence online was absolutely useless. It's a waste of time, absolutely useless. We end up asking all the same
Yeah.
questions anyway. Like, oh, is it free food? Is it free parking? Like, resident lounge is nice or not? Like, you guys get a lounge? Like, where's the lounge at? Like, what's the call schedule? Like, this is literally the same question every time, and you just can't interact with residents that way. You don't know what the lounge is like. You don't know how miserable they are on Zoom. You know.
Dang, so this you think it benefits the program more?
Okay, so let's talk about the program's perspective, right? So they don't get
Yeah,
they're gonna get a bunch of applicants, like usually
which is
double,
good.
right? And they're gonna interview a lot
They
more
like
applicants because a lot of them just kind of interview as backup. They don't have the commitment because if you have in person, let's say I'm applying from California to Michigan and I'm actually willing to fly to Michigan. That's kind of commitment right there. It's kind of like set the first barrier for you to apply in the first place. So if the program see you that you want to fly the interview, you at least they know that you kind of
serious about it.
serious about the program.
Yeah.
And so I think that's one problem. And the second thing, like they don't really know what the applicants really like. You just slip through some crazy guy who's to be an intern that's just not working out well with everybody on the team because they don't get to see the applicants interact with each other on Zoom. They don't know what how socially awkward we are, and we can actually carry a conversation or not.
Mm-hmm.
So it's also a negative right there.
Yeah, you're missing that aspect. But I think in terms of just numbers of applicants, I think that really is a huge pro for the programs because programs obviously want a lot of applicants.
No, that's not true.
The program,
no.
right?
No, because that just make more work. That just make more work for them.
It makes more work for them,
if you look at statistics, usually before COVID pandemic, before a virtual interview, it doubles since COVID started, right? And it's not like these programs have problem matching student before. It's not like program who sold before, it's not sold anymore because of COVID and because of virtual interview. All these programs are still matching people prior.
Mm-hmm. I guess the only reason I'm saying that is because the program director and at the hospital that I was just at, they it seems like they're always trying to get more people to apply to their place. They're setting up this Instagram page and doing more social. What is it? What's that term? They just want to have more social media presence, and then their program can be seen as the place, to go, whatever.
Yeah.
So
I want to think of it in terms of.
Wanted more.
I don't think they want more applicants. I think they want more qualified and interested applicants. I mean, and then the same thing too. It's gonna make their programs look better. Just from personal experience. If I go to a program by patient, I see their Instagrams have been updated for a year. This Facebook's been updated. They're not posting anything. I'm probably gonna be and their website kind of look doesn't look good. It looks really outdated and old. I'm probably gonna be I'm not gonna versus where if I look at a program with up to date Instagram feed with resident live and pictures and videos, I can see what it's like, and especially during virtual interview because you don't get to be there, right?
Yeah.
So they really need to stuff the social media game, and I see the website is nice and polished, easy to find information. Yeah. I probably rank that place higher because I know that they probably have the stuff together. But I don't necessarily think it's to attract applicants for one thing, but I don't think it's necessarily for more applicants to apply. It's more for
quality applicants.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense. Oh boy. Wait, so is it confirmed that's all online virtual or no?
No, they haven't put out anything yet.
Oh.
When are you taking your stuff to?
July.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Any tips? Oh yeah, you have a video on it, huh?
Yeah, I don't remember I making a cassette video. Yeah, just you were, bro. Yeah, you're a good test taker, so you don't need to worry.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's gonna be a weird cycle for you because you need to have a mix of step one pass fail versus step one score. So I wonder how that's gonna, I don't know, play out.
Experiment now. Dude, it's Earth Month.
Yeah. And
Did you do anything change for the Earth? Did you decrease your carbon footprint?
Yeah, buy a Tesla stock.
Did you see his tweet? He had a screenshot of his text messages with Bill Gates.
Oh no, what does it say?
Bill Gates was like complimenting Elon about, oh, congratulations on your SpaceX. I don't know what happened. Maybe he did like landing on something. And then Elon Musk was like, oh, thanks. And then he asked him, do you still have like $500 million in shorted Tesla stocks? And Bill Gates was like, yeah, fortunately, I'm still in it. And then Bill Gates was like, do you want, but I want to talk about philanthropy business. And then Elon Musk was like, I'm sorry, I can't do business with somebody who's shorting the only company that's trying to make an impact on like global warming. And I was like,
What
wait,
does
is
it
this
mean when he?
real?
What does it mean when he's trying to short a stock?
Basically, he's when you short a stock, you're basically selling that stock, right? So let's say Tesla was at $1,000. Um, Bill Gates sold $500 million worth of that
Oh, so it's gonna drop Tesla
at
stock.
that price.
Yeah.
Because he thinks that the price will be $800 or $500, and then he'll buy back at $500, and then he'll just profit from all of what he sold, right? But Tesla stock is just going up. But Bill Gates is still holding strong. He's like, it'll go back
Yeah.
down.
Wait, isn't that? Let's say this in the case of Elon Musk and Twitter, right? If he have
Mhm.
he spent like $1 billion on Twitter to buy all those stocks, the 9% of Twitter stock.
Yeah, I don't know the
So
exact amount, but yeah, 10%.
let's say if he sell all those and he make all those money gains, right? So then let's say Twitter
Uh-huh.
stock drop,
Hmm.
and then but because Twitter stock gonna rise still,
Hmm.
he's gonna buy back in again with all those money and make all those gains again, right?
No, no, no. So
Is that?
when he initially bought 10% of Twitter, Twitter was only selling like maybe high 20s, right? But so he bought it for like high 20s, and then it went up to like almost 50, right? So he basically like almost doubled his money
Yeah. So now
already.
let's say he sell it, they make all
He
those
sells it,
money.
and
Let's say it drop back down to
yeah,
20, and he wait until it turns
yeah,
to 30,
uh-huh,
and he buy them all again.
yeah, he can,
He can,
and
right?
then it'll go back up. Yeah,
Isn't that
but
called
that's
manipulating the
how.
market? Isn't that illegal?
Yeah, but see how rich people can get away with it somehow. I don't know how, but they can. There's a method how they do it. So this is how big hedge funds do it as well. What's going on?
Mochi's chewing my
What's it-
Mochi's chewing my
Uh,
wife's bra. All right, man. Time to
uh,
wrap up. What's your last topic?
well, what? We're not done with the stock thing. So, but do you understand what shorting means? The
Yeah,
other way around.
I get it now.
No, but Bill Gates doesn't even own those stocks.
What do you mean? How's he selling it?
So when you short a stock, you sell shares that you don't own yet because you are saying that you'll buy back those shares later. That makes sense.
How's he selling shares that he doesn't own? I don't get it.
Like he borrowed those shares from other people and then he sold it and then he'll buy back at a lower price and just give back those shares that he borrowed and then he'll just pocket whatever profit that he has.
So this is the same thing with like the AMC and GameStop thing.
Yeah, yeah. The whole AMC and GME because all these big hedge funds
Yeah,
They
but
shorted
see, like
shares
I
that they
understand the
don't.
GameStop and the AMC stuff because those hedge funds are getting money from people like us. How's Bill Gates
Hmm.
doing it by himself?
Because he has a lot of money.
So who's giving him money? Well, see, my point is, if he had all this money, why isn't he just buying the Tesla stock? How? What do you mean by his owns
Because he
stock that he doesn't
because
own?
if he buys it because he believes that the stock is supposed to be lower, Tesla be lower. Why would he buy it at something high? So that's why he's selling it at that value and then buying in when it's lower.
Okay, so how is he selling it if he doesn't own the stock?
So you can sell shares that you borrow from other people, and then you tell them, "Hey, I'll give you back those shares at a later
So who
time."
let Bill Gates borrow those shares?
It's just other shareholders,
So he
like
asked those
brokers.
shareholders to let him borrow it.
Yeah, it's that's what a brokerage is. Like
Like
you can
Vanguard or
do.
Fidelity and stuff.
Yeah. So there are these people that hold shares of Tesla, and they'll let people borrow their shares to do whatever trade they like. But as long as there's like a premium, Bill Gates has to pay like a premium. So that's why the shareholders gain something. Does that make sense? So that's how, as shareholders, you can make money out of those premiums and stuff by having people borrow your share and do whatever trading they would like, just as long as they give you back that share, you know?
Okay.
So it's paid a big, hefty premium to short Tesla, $500 million worth. So obviously, Bill Gates made money, right? But as long as Tesla is trading higher than the value that he sold at, he's in big trouble because he's going to have to buy those shares to return those shares back to the people he borrowed, right?
Okay. No, I get
So
it. I
Bill
get it
Gates
now.
is, yeah,
Yeah. So he bought all those shares, he sell it, and then he buys in when the when the price is
yeah,
lower than the share that he borrow, and it's gonna go
uh-huh.
back up. He makes money, but then he can return those shares to those shareholders. But he bought it at a cheaper price. So
He bought it to your price. So whatever the difference, he pockets it and he
gotcha.
just
Oh man.
saves. That's just interesting. Yeah. I don't have any other topics though. Um,
Yeah. Well, I have more, but I don't know. I don't want to go too long.
no, but
Okay.
I'm having fun. I'm learning.
Okay. We'll end with this. Okay. So exercise provides twice the cardiovascular benefits in anxiety and depression. So everyone knows that all you exercise is gonna have
Uh-huh.
cardiovascular, improvement.
Hmm.
You know the minutes per week that you should get done for adults.
No.
So 150 minutes per week of moderate intensity aerobic physical activity,
Okay, 2.5 hours.
or 75 minutes per week of vigorous intensity. So 150 minutes per week, that's like barely anything, like 2 hours, right? Like
250. Yeah.
2.5 hours per week.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So you work out,
That's nothing.
yeah, you work out 1 hour a day, like three times a week, and you set.
Yeah. That's all across every age.
This is all
Like
adults.
elderly too.
Yeah,
Okay.
elderly too. If you higher risk, then you need more than 300 minutes per week. So what's that? 2 hours. Wait,
2 hours, three
wait,
hours and
300 minutes. So 2 hours. That's 3 hours. So three
no
and a half.
more than 3 hours.
No,
three
approximately
hours and 20
approximately three and a
minutes.
half hours. Approximately 3.5
Yeah.
hours.
Yeah. Three and a
Yeah.
half hours.
So you need an extra hour if you at higher ASCVD risk. Um, so those are the minutes. But essentially, so the article shows that if you have depression and anxiety, um,
Mhm.
and you exercise and you hit those 100-minute, 50, 2.5 hours per week, um, the cardioprotective effects is twice as high than like the typical normal people. So normal people, you have a 10% lower risk if you work out,
Mm-hmm.
and people with anxiety depression is going to have a 22% lower risk. So it's an interesting topic to bring up. And then it's also talk about anxiety and depression are common in patients with heart disease and estimated to be present in 15 to 30% of such patients. So usually patients with heart disease, 15 to 30% of them are going to also have anxiety and depression. So just work out and you benefit from everything.
Is it the heart disease that gives them anxiety, depression, or is it the other way around? It's not a cause and effect thing.
Who knows? I mean, I was like, you have heart problems, and I'll be depressed because I'm like, oh, I can't do stuff normally anymore, or I can't walk around a block. No. Yeah, who knows?
I see. So roughly 3.5 hours for
Well,
patients with
you have ACD,
higher risk.
high risk.
Yeah, high risk.
You don't,
Yeah,
like we don't, so we just need 2.5 hours.
right.
I think the
That's
caveat is like,
good.
let's say you spend an hour in the gym, you're not getting continuous. Um, you're not running for the whole hour the whole time. Like, cause let's say we're lifting weight,
Mm,
so maybe like we can't just say work out 3 hours in the gym every week because that maybe cut it down to 30 minutes a day. You know what I'm saying? So maybe you need to work out like
yeah.
5 6 days a week.
So you have to specify like your heart has to be in like a stress, you know,
Yeah,
high demand, strenuous exercise for a good for for that total to meet that goal, right? 3.5 hours.
yeah,
You can't just be like, oh yeah, I was in the gym. I was in the gym for 3.5 hours this week, but like, were you working out continuously,
yeah. So
or were you just sitting down? Yeah,
I think that's a caveat you gotta realize. So maybe I'll say maybe like 5 6 times in a week
yeah.
in the gym, unless you're doing actually doing aerobic exercise. So it said here that shorter duration of exercises seem to be as beneficial as longer ones. So anything more than 10 minutes. So let's say you do like a
10 minute sprint, ten
yeah
minute
like a
jog.
high intensity interval training or something like it's just as good. Um, Actually, you do high intensity interval training, then you because it's vigorous, so you only need 75 minutes a week. So you do 20
Wait, what?
minutes
If you
because
just do 10 minute intervals, what?
you do high
Say that again.
intensity interval training. So let's say 20 minutes. Usually it's about 20 minutes,
Okay.
right? That's
Yeah.
how long to keep your heart rate up. So you only need to do, and it's usually vigorous exercise when you do high intensity, very tiring.
Hmm.
So then you only need 75 minutes a week. So that means you only need to do like probably like 3 sessions of high intensity interval training a week for you to get the benefits.
Does jogging count as that high intensity, or just that
No, jogging
sprinting?
doesn't count. Yeah, so high
But
intensity.
sprinting,
You know what high intensity interval training is, right?
no.
So usually it's kind of um like 30 second on, 1.5 minute rest, like 2 minute rest or something. So you could like go all out, like 9, 10, like 90, 100% sprint for like 30 seconds. Then you walk for like a minute and a half, or a minute, or like 2 minutes, and you
Mm.
sprint for like 30 seconds.
But do you count the breaks, or you just count that?
Yeah, you still kind of break because your heart rate's still elevated at the time. It's not like your heart rate go back to resting. Like it's not gonna go back to like 70 beat per minute. So you sprint,
Mm.
and then during a 2 minute walk, your heart rate is still probably elevated, like 100, 110.
Wait, so a rep would be like, let's say you took a 2 minute break and you only sprint 30 seconds. So that's like a rep would be like 2 minutes and a half,
Yeah, so one
technically,
so
right?
one rep would be 2.5 minutes.
Oh,
But during that 2.5 minutes, it's aerobic because your heart rate is still elevated.
right. Okay, let's just say 3 minutes to
Yeah,
keep it easier
sure.
for
So
math.
let's do 1 minute
So,
sprint, 2 minute rest.
right. Okay. And you said if you do this type of exercise, 75 minutes per week is enough. Okay. 75 minutes of this. So I guess that works. What are what are other benefits for high what is it called? High intensity interval training.
Yeah. I mean, I
Can
think
you do
that,
that for heavy weights or no?
see, like, I would consider weightlifting to be high intensity interval training, bro. Like, because you're going pretty strenuous when you're lifting the weight, and you get like a
Right.
minute and a half break, 2 minutes, and you go hit those things again. So yeah, I don't know, man. I would consider it because your heart rate get up there when you lifting the weight, like doing heavy deadlift, squats and stuff. But
People don't consider it
I
as
don't
that.
think so. I don't think people consider it.
You're saying,
They
oh,
usually consider like more like aerobic stuff, like sprinting or like doing like jumping jacks, like
swimming,
rope stuff. Yeah, swimming, sprinting.
uh,
But
biking. Oh, I see.
personally, I would consider it. No, maybe not because I do take a pretty long breaks in between, like sets and stuff
Yeah.
for powerlifting. But
Do you think it's because it's more an isolated workout versus like sprinting? It's like a full body, or is like your oxygen demand is higher
I say
for those type
I
of?
say like CrossFit stuff. I'll consider those high intensity interval trainings
Yeah, for sure.
because you continually like cycling through different exercises and you get like maybe a minute, 2 minute break in between, and then you go right back into it again. Just anything that make you feel like crap.
Yeah.
I think we're getting too much into the nuance here. I think as long as you just get out there and like be like, oh yeah, I'm not work out for like 30 minutes. I think we get.
Right.
So I think the point is just trying to make with the 10 minute thing. It's just like, you can break up your workout in a day. Maybe walk for like 15, 20 minutes in the morning, then go home and walk for like 10, 15 minutes after, walk your dog or something, and you get the same cardiovascular benefit as going to the gym for like 40 minutes.
Right. Cool. All right. This is good. Patient education.
Yeah. Anxiety and depression. Make sure you do exercise. I think that's
Yeah.
something that points out because I know friends and family members with like depression and anxiety and stuff, and it's like the first thing I mean I feel like we both been depressed for it. Every medical student has been depressed for.
Good. Yeah, if they don't say that, then they're lying.
Yeah, we all experienced it, and we know how hard it is. But it's like you gotta do something for yourself before you start medications. And I'm not advocating for not starting medications if you like really severe and you need help with anxiety and depression. Like take medication that's gonna help, and especially if that's gonna help you off to the right foot. It makes you feel better. It motivates you, get you outside. But I think the best thing you can do for yourself is like, what can you do for yourself? You gotta help yourself first. Get outside, walk, get some vitamin D, get your dopamine level up by exercising. Go talk to your friends. Because just think about in terms of, let's say you want to torture somebody, right? Like interrogations, like usually with like terrorists and stuff, when CIA capture them, right? What do? What are the tactics of torturing them? You obviously can't physically hurt them because that's against the world's rule. So you deprive them of sunlight. That's what they do. That's one of the tactics they do, right? They keep them in a locked, dark room when you're in isolation, right? Deprive them of sunlight. Deprive them of exercise. Don't let them go outside. Don't let them exercise. Deprive them of water and nutritious food, right? You deprive them of isolating them, so you don't let them talk to anybody. You don't let them see anybody. Like literally all
Yeah.
these things. You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
Like you literally torturing yourself. You don't do any of these things. Like there's so many people who just, especially with COVID and stuff, you just stay inside all day. You don't talk to anybody. You don't meet your friends. You eat terrible food. Right? You barely feeding yourself. You barely drink water. You drink junk. You drink like Coca-Cola and eat junk food. Eat takeouts. Right? You not exercising. Not getting out. You're not getting your dopamine level up. You're not getting sunlight. You're literally doing everything you would do to torture somebody to yourself. to break your
But you don't really.
to break your mental psyche.
That's crazy.
Yeah, like you think about
It
it,
is
you're like,
so
shoot,
good.
man. I like when we were in med school and we went through those times. That's what we were doing. We just lock ourselves in our room and just study all day. Don't even like go out and see the sunlight or something. And it's crazy.
Yeah.
And then it's
Did
just
you
like a
hear?
feedback loop that just gets
Yeah.
worse.
Yeah. I was listening to a podcast It's called the Happiness Podcast, and it was actually based off of a college course, I think in Harvard, taught by a professor. So she found out that 2 out of 3 of her um, students that were going into her like counseling were depressed, had anxiety, all these like mental disorders, you know. Um, and she was like, "Wait, this is crazy. Like, why? They're in like the top school. All these students are like super smart, but why do they have all these issues?" So then um, she wanted she wanted to like have this college course so then she can teach every all the students that wanted to get out of this, you know, depression and anxiety and all this stuff all at once. So she had this happiness course, and it was like essentially like all they had to do was do all these things. Like, okay, have time to go to the gym, you know, have time to just walk, and have time to like spend with family and friends, and not just studying your books all the time. It was just like very basic stuff that you need to do, like all the opposite of whatever you just said, and then like it was successful because of just those easy things, you know. So I just thought it was interesting.
Like just the basic
Very
necessity for
simple.
life that you gotta do,
Yeah.
and you deprive yourself of
Yeah.
it, of course, and then you wonder like, oh, how come like my life, my mental state is so bad? And
Yeah.
that's why I recommend,
It goes,
you gotta do those things before you start, medications. Like you gotta ask yourself, like, am I doing all these things already? And it's you are trying
yeah.
and it's not working, and yeah, maybe you need some help. Because sometimes people need that medications to help them first, to kind of like get like a jump start, so they can start having motivation to do those things. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe, but but remember the medication doesn't start working until what, like a month or 2 months,
Yeah,
right?
you gotta give it a month, and you're getting all the side effects during the time,
Yeah.
weight
So
gain.
usually when you start them on the medication, you start them on CBT. You have to change their routine already.
Hmm.
So then it's like both kind of plays a role into it, you know.
Yeah,
It's, so that's why people actually think that like when I just took it and then I feel good already, but then actually it's not the pill.
it's
It's like
placebo. Oh, it's
it's
a
what they're
workout and
doing.
stuff.
Yeah, it's all the workout stuff that the
Getting
doctor told
out.
them to do.
Yeah,
Yeah. So that was like the misconception, the the misconception in the first place when this pill came out, you know. Um,
yeah,
yeah.
very cool. So, all right, man.
Cool, man.
It's
Let's
nice
wrap
talking
it
to you.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we are
Good
officially
episode.
Apple Podcast. All the episodes are on there right now. I'm gonna try to get working in Spotify,
Really?
Google Play too. I think we're gonna be on Google Podcasts also. So
Awesome.
yeah,
Thank you
make sure you guys
for all
go
the
and
work.
review, get 5 stars in the Apple podcast store.
Yeah, help us out. Give us some reviews, give us some comments, give some feedback. We always like some immediate feedback. Um, and I will not be afraid to send this link to to people now.
Yeah, be proud of what you do, bro.
Just be proud. All right. Cool.
All right,
See you guys next
see you
time.
next time.
Bye bye.